Well, what a week it's been here at Ainslie. Here's your weekend wrap-up. Sticky inflation started off the week with both a morning news article on our website and a conversation with Alex Hutchinson on Gold Silver Standard Insights. Chris and Alex discussed what sticky inflation is, its history in the economy, where we are seeing it today, and why it's a good sign for the gold price. Link provided to watch in full. On Tuesday and Thursday, it was analysis time. We penned a news article analysing the bull to bear transition phases of the digital asset market, and yours truly gave you the weekly gold, silver and platinum price analysis video, which, amongst other things, I gave a huge thank you to Fed Chair Jerome Powell for opening his big trap and tanking the market. But the chance to buy lower is always a silver lining. Wednesday was all about the new rate hikes from the RBA, and Chris spoke to Branko Radanovic to get his take. Insights is a must-watch as it breaks down and expands upon our daily news articles. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like every week, we had our usual product highlight and weekly special. We took an up-close look at and discussed the features of the 2023 Silver Britannia from the Royal Mint with the new effigy of King Charles III, and for the special we did a great discount on Ainslie 1-ounce minted silver bars for 24 hours only. Did you miss it? No worries, there's always next time. You'll have a better chance of catching the next one if you follow us on one or all of our social media platforms. Also on Thursday, we wrote about the most likely record demand for silver in 2022. While we await the final numbers from the Silver Institute, on last forecast they were projecting a figure of 1.21 billion ounces, up 16% from 2021. And according to a recent study out of the University of New South Wales, we ain't seen nothing yet. And it's all to do with solar panels. Check out that article, link provided. Friday's topic was how Singapore is top dog for January, buying a record amount of gold. They've increased their reserves by nearly 30% in 1 month. Sign of the times? And lastly, Tough Talk had a, let's say, interesting chat with Admiral John Kirby, the National Security Council spokesperson, all about the UFO sightings and the recent shooting down of weather balloons and other objects out of an abundance of caution. You can watch that hilarious clip at the end of this video. That wraps up another week here at Ainslie. As always, balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Admiral Kirby, welcome to the program.
A very good day to you, Chris.
I wonder if you could shed some light on the recent series of high-altitude objects shot down over the continental US and its neighbours.
I can tell you this for certain, they aren't UFOs.
So you've identified them then? They are identified flying objects?
Not all of them, no. Several remain unidentified. And I would say they were more floating than flying.
Like balloons?
The Chinese one was definitely a balloon. The others could be quite literally anything. As I said, several remain unidentified.
Is this some form of coordinated attack then?
Your questions do seem a tad loaded and aggressive, to be honest.
No, not my questions. From the balloons and other, let's call them miscellaneous partially identified objects you keep shooting out of the sky.
Let me make this abundantly clear, Chris. The China one at the start was definitely a spying balloon-based attack, no doubt about it. The others may or may not have been an assault on democracy and a direct violation of US sovereignty and international law. They probably weren't, but we shot them down anyway, out of an abundance of caution.
There was a direct and imminent threat to national security then?
Quite possibly. Or a threat to commercial aircraft. It was a threat to the people on the ground if we shot them down over land, I'll tell you that. That's why we shoot objects down over the water.
Can you describe the objects in a little more detail?
Certainly. What we know from the debris is they are generally cylindrical and silverish grey, with a balloon-like appearance of floating without propulsion. They could be anywhere between the size of a regular party balloon or a hot air balloon. They may have been travelling very high or not very high at all, relatively speaking.
That description seems a bit vague.
Well, it's a mangled mess after we shoot it out of the sky and it comes falling all the way back down to crash in the ocean. Then it's all full of water and spread out over a wide area. A lot of it sinks. You need to speculate to fill in the gaps when you blow something up by shooting at it in this manner.
So why did you have to shoot it down? Couldn't you have investigated a little closer first, rather than piecing together a story from waterlogged wreckage?
As I said, Chris, out of an abundance of caution.
There were risks involved in looking before shooting.
There were a lot of antennas on some of them. You never know what they could have been doing. Shoot first, speculate from the wreckage later is the safe way to play it when dealing with potential spies.
And what about reports of a $440,000 missile shooting down what ended up being a $12 hobby balloon over Alaska? Another shoot first, look later abundance of caution?
Absolutely. We need to send a message, and we need to be clear and unequivocal that we do not tolerate this.
Hobby balloons?
Anything up there floating around that poses a potential threat of spying on us down here. You simply cannot be too cautious.
What about shooting down satellites? Surely they are a lot more advanced for spying. I know they have a lot of antennas.
Don't be ridiculous, Chris. The fighter jets can't fly that high. It would be completely unsafe. We only shoot things down if we can do so safely.
And what about the concerns over intimate spying from electronic devices we all interact with daily that are not floating around in the sky?
Well, we obviously can't shoot them down. Actually, we could give it a go. If we gathered them all up and popped them in balloons and sent them out over the water first, we could speculate on what they were doing from the recovered debris afterwards.
Admiral Kirby, thanks for joining me.